the writer went to the bridge to throw his books into the water. What was the condition of his mind and what did he feel over there? Look at your book. It was nearly midnight as I stepped into the street. There was a cold nip in the air. The sky was full of stars, and the greenish yellow lamps threw long gleams across the smooth, hard road. Few people were about. Under the trees at the corner, a guardman was bidding a robust good night to his girl, and here and there rang out the steps of solitary travelers making their way home across the bridge to Battersea. I turned up my overcoat collar, settled my sack comfortably across the shoulders, and strode off towards the little square gleam of the coffee stall which marked the near end of the bridge, whose sweeping iron girders were just visible against the dark sky behind. This was the situation at midnight when he went out of his house. Well, a few doors down, I passed a policeman who was flashing his lantern on the catches of basement windows. He turned. I fancied he looked suspicious, and I trembled slightly. Well, the writer was trembling slightly because it is a very usual situation. Whenever a policeman is looking at us, we are trembling and we are afraid of him. What the writer says, the thought occurred to me, perhaps he suspects I have swag in this sack. Well, swag means stolen goods, chori kiya hua saman. I was not seriously disturbed, as I knew that I could bear investigation and that nobody would be suspected of having stolen such goods as I was carrying. Well, basically, there are very few people who must be stealing books. Otherwise, no one is stealing any book. Nevertheless, I could not help the slight unease which comes to all who are eyed suspiciously by the police, and to all who are detected in any deliberately furtive act, however harmless. He acquitted me, apparently, and with a step that, making an effort, I prevented from growing more rapid. I walked on until I reached the embankment. And here comes the real situation, the real confusion of the writer about how to throw these books into the water. It was then that all the implications of my act revealed themselves. Now there were so many thoughts coming to his mind. I leaned against the parapet and looked down into the faintly luminous swirls of the river. Suddenly I heard a step near me, quite automatically. I sprang back from the wall and began walking on with, I fervently hoped, an air of rumination and unconcern. Rumination and unconcern means in a deep thinking of oneself. अपनी ही सोच में गुम हो जाना. The pedestrian came by me without looking at me. It was a tramp who had other things to think about. And calling myself an ass, I stopped again. Well, this tramp was the second visitor. पहले उसको एक पुलिसमैन मिला और उसके बाद एक ट्रैम्प होता है खाना बदोश जिनका अपना कोई घर नहीं होता. I stopped again. Now is for it, I thought, but just as I was preparing to cast my books upon the waters, I heard another step, a third one, a slow and measured one. The next thought came like a blaze of terrible blue lightning across my brain. What about the splash? Splash का मतलब होता है जब पानी में कोई चीज़ फेंकते हैं और बहुत ज़ोर से आवाज़ आती है. उसका क्या होगा? A man leaning at midnight over the embankment wall, a sudden fling of his arms, a great splash in the water. Surely, and not without reason, whoever was within sight and hearing would at once rush to me and seize me. In all probability, they would think it was a baby. What on earth would be the good of telling a London constable that I had come out into the cold and stolen down alone to the river to get rid of a pack of poetry? I could almost hear his gruff, sneering laugh. You tell that to the Marins, my son. So for I do not know how long I strayed up and down, increasingly fearful of being watched, summoning up my courage to take the plunge, and quailing from it at the last moment. At last I did it. Now he threw the sack into the water. In the middle of Chelsea Bridge, there are projecting circular bays with seats in them. In an agony of decision, I left the embankment and hastened straight for the first of these. When I reached it, I knelt on the seat. Looking over, I hesitated again, but I had reached the turning point. What? I thought savagely, under this resolute mark that you show your friends, is there really a shrinking and contemptible coward? If you fail now, you must never hold up your head again. Anyhow, what if you are hanged for it? Good God, you worm! Better men than you have gone to the gallows. Basically, these are the thoughts after throwing the books into the water, and the writer is basically thinking if he is caught by the police, what his friends and the other people are thinking about his act. With the courage of despair, I took a heave. The sack dropped sheer. A vast splash. Then silence fell again. No one came. I turned home. And as I walked, I thought a little sadly of all those books falling into the old torrent, settling slowly down through the pitchy dark and subsiding at last on the ooze of the bottom, there to lie forlorn and forgotten, whilst the unconscious world of men went on. Now he has thrown the books and he is moving back to his house. And at the end of the lesson, the writer is describing his thoughts, what he is thinking about all these books. Horrible bad books, poor innocent books. You are lying there still, covered perhaps with mud by this time, with only a stray rag of your sacking sticking out of the slime into the opaque brown tides. Odes to Diana, sonnets to Ethel, dramas on the love of Lancelot, stanzas on a first glimpse of Venus. You lie there in a living death, and your fate is perhaps worse than you deserved. I was harsh with you. I am sorry I did it, but even if I had kept you, I will certainly say I should not have sent you to the soldiers. Well, these are the thinkings of the writer after throwing the books. And what do you mean by it? You lie there in a living death. What is the living death of a book? जब हम किताब को ख़रीद लेते हैं, उसको पढ़ते नहीं हैं, उसको बंद करके रख देते हैं, या रद्दी में दे देते हैं, या फेंक देते हैं, वो किताब की ज़िंदा मौत है. This is the living death. The basic purpose of a book is to read the book. It is to enjoy the book, and it is to enjoy all what the author tries to tell us. Basically, the author J.C. Squire, he wants to tell us that whenever we are purchasing any book, first of all, we should see whether the book is of any concern to us or not. शौक़ के तौर पर किताबें नहीं ख़रीदनी चाहिए, मकसद के लिए और पढ़ने के लिए ख़रीदें. शौक़ के लिए ख़रीदी गई जो किताबें हैं वो सिर्फ सजावट के लिए तो पड़ी रहती हैं, लेकिन वो नई आने वाली किताबों के लिए जगह नहीं बनाती. और यही इस कहानी का मकसद है, जिसके अंदर वो राइटर बता रहे हैं हमें कि किस तरह से उसने अपनी किताबों को डिस्ट्रॉय किया. बेसिकली उसने डिस्ट्रॉय ही किया जब उसने उनको पानी में फेंक दिया और पढ़ा भी नहीं. अब इस लेसन के क्वेश्चन आंसर्स हैं, आप लोग इस लेसन को देखें. इसकी जो एक्सरसाइज है उस पर बात करते हैं. अगर आप लोगों की कोई कन्फ्यूजन्स हैं तो वो आप लोग मेरे साथ शेयर करें, उसके मैं आपको आंसर दूँगी.